Hey guys, so in this video, I wanted to do another story time. Um, so basically, what happened? Well, as you guys can see by the title, it is sort of a paranormal one. I have had numerous experiences with paranormal, so I'm probably going to be doing a lot of like story times on that. But I really want to talk about this one because it's like the first one that like came to my mind. First one that like came to my mind. Um, it's a really weird one. I don't remember. I don't know why it's so like burnt into my memory. Like it's just like something I've always remembered, and I don't know why. I just do. Um, so um, as you guys can see by the title, I had a killer Barbie doll, and not just any Barbie doll, a life-size Barbie doll at the time. It obviously wouldn't have been life-size now, but at the time it was like the same size as me because I was like 6, 7, 8. So it was like the same size as I was. Okay, so it, this was a very interesting thing that happened to me. So when I was little, I was very much into just any toy. I didn't really care. I liked Hot Wheels, I liked Barbies, I liked Brat dolls, I liked, making mud pies. I was a very well-rounded child, and I still am a well-rounded person. I just liked playing with anything. I didn't really care about obviously gender conforming crap. I just liked to play with whatever I wanted to play with. So I really wanted this life-size Barbie doll, and it was Barbie. I don't remember what she looked like. I think she was just like a regular Barbie. Um, like I don't think she was anything specific. I don't really remember that part. Um, but I was like so wanting to have her. My mom finally bought it for me. And I don't remember if she bought it for me for like Christmas or my birthday or whatever it was, but she bought it for me. And I was so excited to have her. I had so much fun with her. Like I would dress her up and like I played with her all the time because I don't know, as you guys know, I didn't have siblings growing up. I was an only child, or I am an only child. So I I wasn't alone. Like I don't want to make it seem like, oh my god, like my life was just whatever. Like I wasn't alone. Like I did have cousins that would come over and I would play with me and stuff, but I was, I I wasn't with someone all the time, So I just learned to entertain myself basically. And so my so I would play with this Barbie like all the time. Like she was like my best friend. Like we would, I would play dress up with her. We would have like tea parties, all that good kids shit. And it was fun for a while. And I um, like I would play with her all the time. Like I said, I was obsessed with this doll. But things started getting kind of weird, and I don't know if it was just like my imagination, because I'm a kid. I don't know. I don't know if it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. I don't know if it was like an actual like paranormal thing. I will never know because I was so young that I don't want to be like, yes, it was a ghost. Like I really honestly don't know. Um, but I just remember um, like I just remember she would like talk to me, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, it was paranormal because it could have just been my imagination. I had a really strong imagination when I was a kid, so it could have been that. I don't know, but I just felt like we would have conversations. Like she would actually talk to me, and it was just like that kind of thing. And things started getting kind of weird because like I would stand her up like in the corner of my room, like, and I think this is when I started becoming afraid of like dolls in the dark, like just any doll, like not okay, not any doll. Like I'm not afraid of like little tiny Barbies, but like like life size or like realistic looking dolls. I like do not like. I don't even like. Um, I don't even know. I'm not into that shit. So, but anyway, so she would sit in the corner in my room and by my bed, and I wasn't afraid of her. Like really, I honestly at first I was not afraid of her. I was just like, oh, whatever. So, but some weird after a while, some weird things started like happening with um this doll, and it was like a sequence of things. Like it was every single night when it first started, it was like um it was like every single night. And granted, when you're a kid, this kind of shit looks realistic to you. Like yes, it was a Barbie, so like now if I looked at it, it would just look like a Barbie. But when you're a kid, you interpret it, things differently. So it to me as a kid, it she looked like a person. She was the same height as me. So it was like a person. And so she was realistic and all that stuff. So then, um, so 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 I'm sorry, I'm like mumbling. I'm trying to like think like what I want to talk about, but okay. So what started happening was, I used to be able to sleep in a dark room. I never had a problem. I still have to have night lights. I'm still a child, but I could sleep in a dark room. I didn't have a problem. I didn't have to sleep with any noise. Like I was whatever. But then after this whole Barbie situation thing happened, I needed night lights and I needed sound and like all that good stuff. Like I was afraid of the dark too. So what happened was I started having these really weird dreams that you know normal kids shouldn't have or don't usually have. But it was a really weird dream. It was really creepy. And it happened like every night. I don't know how long it happened, but it happened every single night after the first dream. So in the first dream, I wasn't really a dream, of nightmare, obviously. Uh, so basically, what happened was I would just dream that I was. First dream I remember having, I just had this dream about playing with her, and we were having fun. But then something happened and it turned dark. Like so we were talking, because I would dream about her all the time. Like it was like I was obsessed with this doll. And in my dreams, like she was more realistic, like she was like an actual person. So we would talk and all that stuff, but like we were playing and all that, but like it turned dark. It turned really weird and creepy. Like she just started talking about like really weird stuff. Like I don't remember exactly. I just remember like she was like talking about like death and parents and just like really creepy stuff. And then I remember like I in my nightmare like I would just be like I don't want to talk about this, like why can't we just play? And then she would stop for a while, but then she would like start talking about it again. And then eventually I would just be like, okay, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to play anymore. Like I just want to like, whatever. So then I would like leave her alone and I would like be like put her back in the corner. Like, 'cause in my dream, like I would put her back in the corner of the room, like where she was normally at, and then I would go play with like Hot Wheels or my Polly Pockets or just like something else that I had, because I would be mad at her because I was like, I don't want to talk about that. You're not listening to me. So then I would sit her in the corner, and then I would get up and I would like, and then it would like switch to me laying in my bed, and it would be dark, like literally pitch black. The only light that I had was like coming from like the moon outside, and it would like glare right on her, which was creepy because it did that anyway, like even not in my nightmares, but just in general it would do that. So I just remember like it would glare, and then like I would like look at her and I would smile, but then she would just like stare at me. Like she wouldn't smile like how she normally would, you know what I mean? So it was just really creepy, and like I would just like in my nightmare I'd be laying down like trying to sleep, and I remember I would be sleeping, but then I would hear like this I started hearing like this tapping, and I was like confused. I was trying to sleep, and then I would kind of try to ignore it, but like it would get louder, and I'm like, oh my god, something. So I like remember the first time it happened, I got up, and I was dreaming at this point. I'm pretty sure I was dreaming at this point. And I got up and I turned and I looked at her, and she was holding a knife like this, just like a butcher knife. And I was like, fuck. And granted, she was still in the corner of my room. So she was like far in the corner. And I saw that, and she like would like, cause in the dream, like, you know, her face could move, so she like would do like this really like sinister smirk, and I'm like, nah. And I would like wake up screaming from it, and then I would see her, you know, in the corner with like the moon shining on her. I mean, she would be just standing there like not doing anything, just normal like plastic doll fakeness, just standing in the corner, which was fine. And then I would just like get freaked out, and I'd stare, and then I would just like turn and like hide under my covers, and then eventually I'd fall asleep. But like that kept happening like every single night for a while. But the freaky part of it was is that it was the same nightmare, but she would get closer to me every single night. Not like in real life, but in the dream with the knife. Like she would get closer and closer and closer to me. Like she she like every dream she would be holding the knife, but she would be closer and closer and closer and closer until the last time I had my nightmare about her, and I it was the same thing, but the last nightmare was the worst because it didn't even start out fun like it normally did. Like every dream would get darker and darker and darker, like quicker and like sooner in the dream. So, but this night it just started off bad. It was just like she was creepy. She just had like these like cracks in her, and she just would like she just would just be so sadistic sounding and creepy. And I remember just in the beginning, I'm just like, you're being weird. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, you need to go away. I don't want to play with you. Like, and I just remember saying that, and like, she just got really angry with me. And she just like had this really angry look on her face, and it freaked me out. And I was like, you need to go in your corner. I'm going to bed. I was like, leave me alone. I just remember being like, I told you to stop talking about this stuff. I don't want to hear it. I want to go to bed. And then she just like randomly would switch, and then she was like, okay. And she just would like talk to me, but she'd act like she was fine. So she would go in her corner and stand there, and then I would go and lay in my bed. And then like, and granted, this was all a dream. Okay, I'm pretty sure it wasn't like I wasn't awake when this was happening because I was sleeping. And so then I go to sleep, and I hear like I'm laying in bed and I'm turned like the opposite way. That's why I don't like facing away from like so like if I'm sleeping in a bed, I can't like if I'm on the outside of the bed, whatever side is like I have to be facing the outside, if that makes any sense. Like I can't be facing the wall or facing into the bed. Like if the bed's right here, I have to be facing like whatever outwards because of that. So I have a lot of problems, you guys. But anyway, so I was facing in the wall, like I was looking at the wall because at the time my bed was like up against the wall and then up against the wall. So I was facing the wall and I hear like this like heavy breathing behind me and like this like kind of like grunting noise and I'm like what the hell? Oh, okay, I didn't cuss, but I'm just saying, I was like, what is that noise? And I just kept trying to ignore it. Like, I was doing it in every other dream because it would happen the same thing, except, like, this whole grunting thing and the breathing was different. And I was like, I'm just trying to sleep. Like, I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. Like, I kept on saying, and I was, like, forcing myself. I was trying to force myself to go to sleep. And eventually it just got, like, really loud. And I couldn't, like, ignore it anymore. And I got so mad. And I turned over, like I looked at the corner of my room and she wasn't there, like where she was. And I like kind of like rubbed my eyes a little bit because I was like, she's supposed to be right there. Like, where is she at? And so she wasn't there and I was like, where is she? And then I like I magically randomly had a flashlight. Okay, so I randomly had a flashlight and in the dream. And I was like flashing it over in the corner. She wasn't there. I was like putting my around my room. I was like going basically. I was just like flashing the flashlight literally everywhere. I even like got on the floor, went under my bed, which that's why I'm also don't like under the beds either. By the way, I'm afraid of everything, you guys. So I was just shining the light, and I was like, where is she? Like she's like literally just like vanished. And so I'm like, whatever, like, it must just been whatever. So then I go and I lay back down. I'm still not, I'm like, where is she? But I'm like, maybe she, like, went out for a walk. I don't know. I was just trying to rationalize everything. And so then I go and I lay back down, and I feel like a hand, I'm, like, trying to show, like, gliding up my blanket on my bed, and I feel like this hand, but it doesn't feel like a normal hand. Like, it feels like claws. Okay, so this is getting really creepy. I don't even like talking about it. But I just feel like these claws like going like up my blanket and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like freaking out. Like I'm in my bed just like turned like, towards the wall and I'm like literally freaked out and then I start hearing like that heavy breathing and the growling again. And I'm like, okay, so like I got really mad because I was like, I'm just trying to sleep. Like I just want to sleep. And I was so angry because I was like, I mean, I was angry, but I was scared. I was like, oh my God. And so I like look in the corner again. I get my flashlight and I look in the corner and she still isn't there. And I'm like, and I remember what her name was. I just think it was Barbie. So I think I just called her Barbie. I don't think I named her. I think I just called her Barbie. And I was just like, Barbie, like, where are you? And I kept flashing, but I was still laying down, so I could only see like what was in front of me basically. And so I kept saying it, and then eventually, like, it was weird because eventually her normal voice came back, and she's like, "I'm right here," and it sounded like she was like literally right behind me. And that's the thing. That's why I don't like when things are behind me. I'm like, nah, I need to see everything. And so that's why I started sleeping like towards the door and all that good stuff because I was like, nah. So I'm like, where? And she's like, I'm right behind you. And I'm like, oh fuck. Now that shit freaks me out. But like back then I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, and then before I turned around, I was like, why aren't you like in your spot? And she's like, I want to play. And I'm like, it's too late to play. I don't want to play right now. And she's like, oh, come on, let's just play. And I'm like, okay, fine. So then I like take my covers off and I turn around because I'm like, I'm still freaking out. Like, I still get this, like, really, I was getting, like, this weird vibe. And I'm like, I don't like this. But then I, like, turned around slowly and I looked at her and, like, it was just something out of a freaking horror film, you guys. Like, she was cracked. She had, like, freaking blood coming out of her mouth. Her eyes were, like, whited out. And she was holding the knife. And she was literally right behind me. And then her voice, like, as soon as I looked at her, her voice went demonic as fuck. Like, deep as hell. And she's like, I want to play. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then she, like, okay, I didn't say that. This is horrible trying to tell the story. But I was like, I screamed, and she went like that to stab me, and I woke up in like a millisecond. Like, right before. And I looked in the corner, and she was standing there, staring at me with her, like, typical smile, and I'm like, nope, not today, Satan. And I got up off my bed, I ran into my mom's room, and I was, like, crying and screaming, and I was like, Mom, I kept saying Mom, and she's like, what, and I'm like, I don't like that Barbie anymore, she's scaring me. I'm like, you need to get her out of my room. And she was like, okay. So she, like, went in the corner, turned on my light, and she, like, took my Barbie, and she, like, took it out, and she put it out of my room. I'm like, no, you need to, like, get rid of her. She's like, I'll get rid of her in the morning. She's like, I'll put her in the garage. That way, like, you know, she won't freak you out. And I'm like, she won't be in, you know, the house in case you, like, because I had to go, like, if I had to get up and go to the bathroom, I wouldn't see her. So I, like, was like, okay. So, like, she put her on the garage, she locked the door and everything else. And then I was, like, still freaking out. And so, like, I went to sleep. I ended up falling back to sleep. And then I got up and I went to, like, I had to go to the bathroom. And it was, like, I don't remember. It was, like, early morning. Like, it wasn't light out yet, but it wasn't, like, late at night. And I got up and I went to the I was walking to the bathroom, and the bathroom was, like, diagonal to, like, where my room was, and I was walking to the bathroom and I started hearing, like, I don't know, like, just, like, I don't know, like, nails, like, on the wall, and I was, like, freaking out, like, oh gosh, she's coming back to haunt me. And so I was like, oh god. So I, like, ran to the bathroom, I turned on the light, and I, like, went to the bathroom, and, like, I was, like, pitch black in my house. So, like, I was freaking out. I was like, I do not want to go back, like, to, you know, I was like, I don't want to go back to, like, you know, my room because it's dark. Like, it was freaking me out. And so, like, I went out of the bathroom and I still heard the claws, like, on the wall. I was like, okay, you know what? Nope, I'm not dealing with this. So I, like, ran into my room. I closed the door. I didn't have a lock on it, unfortunately. So I just, like, closed it, and I, like, put, like, a chair in front of it, and I was like, no. And I stayed up, and then I finally went back to sleep, and then I woke up, and it was morning time, and I got up, and I went out in the garage, and she wasn't there, and I was like, Mom, like, where's Barbie? And she was like, oh, I threw her away. I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, after she threw her away, the garbage people, I, like, watched them, like, you know, drive off with her, and I was like, ah, bitch, I was so happy, like, you don't even know, I was so happy. So she, like, they drove off with her, and then I was like, you know, after that, like, the nightmare stopped happening, and so, like, I don't know if she was possessed, like, it sure seems like it, and it sure obviously sounds like it, but I don't know for sure if it was just my imagination. But I don't know. It was a really weird situation that happened, so it's kind of confusing. But yeah, so that's the time I almost got killed by my Barbie. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, just give it a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.